Hey guys, today I'm doing an unboxing video on the Airfix 1/72nd scale Hawk Typhoon Mark 1B. So, a little bit about this kit. It was originally, if we have a look at the bottom, tooled in 2013, but the pack design and transfer schemes are from 2024. So it's part of their older, newer range from when they started making all the new toolings and stopped reboxing all the others from the 80s and that. Anyway, if we have a look on the side, you get one flying hour, which you can redeem as a token on the if you're part of the Airfix club. I'm not personally part of the Airfix club, but maybe one day I'll join it. It says it's a skill level 1, which means it will be one of the easier kits to build in the range. And if we have a look up here, it gives us a list of Humbrol products that we'll need to complete the kit. So if we have a look over here, we have information about the aircraft and the two transfer schemes. Transfer scheme A is RB396 XPW pilot from Pilot Officer Frank Johnson of the Royal Canadian Air Force on number 174 Squadron in Germany 1945. And the next is PD521 JB2 Wing Commander John Robert Bodwin on number 146 Wing in RAF October 1944. And on this edge, we've got the same image as on the front, which is quite a rather attracting image. Same on this side, and on the back we got some tooling information. So, it says here, Airfix supports the Hawk Typhoon Preservation Group on the restoration to flight of Hawk Typhoon RB396. Which, if we have a look, is the same aircraft here. So, for those of you who don't know, there is only one original Hawk Typhoon left in the world. It's at the RAF Hendon Museum in London, which is astonishing. And I think there's another one being restored somewhere in the UK, I'm not sure. But anyways, they're planning on restoring it to a flying condition. Anyway, if we have a look inside the box, we have the clear parts, which looks to just be 3 clear parts. And then we have the plastic parts, the instructions, and then the transfers. We'll get into the transfers later, and the parts later. But right now we'll have a look inside the instructions. So, on here, it gives you some information in multiple languages about the Typhoon. It tells you down there that you might want to wash the parts before you use them for better results. And it gives you more information about the aircraft. So, if we have a look on the first page, so it tells us, we start off with building the cockpit assembly by building the seat and a bulkhead, the control panel, and attaching the control column and rudder pedals onto what I can assume is the cockpit floor and the air intake filter. And then we add the chair and that and the control panel into the cockpit side. And we have the option to raise or lower the rear tail wheel. And it also shows us here that this kit comes with a pilot, which is good. So, and then on step 6, we add the cockpit floor and what I can assume is the wing mount into the fuselage. Then after that, we add the exhaust. I personally probably won't do that to the end because it will make it a bit easier to paint. Then we add the tail surfaces, which by the looks of the elevators, you can't position them, so you'd have to cut them if you wanted to position them. Then if we have a look down here, you've got some holes you can drill out for rockets or bombs and a display stand, but they haven't done the display stands for a while, so I don't think I will. Now if we flip over to the next page, sorry, have I missed a step or something? No, we have the bottom of the wing there. Anyway, so now we get to add the top of the wings, and something that's quite unique with this kit is you can cut open some of the panel lines on the top side of the wings, and you can display gun bays, which is something you don't see on a lot of 172 scale aircraft. Then we get on to building the landing gear, which seems fairly straightforward. Then the wheels, which just come in 2 halves. You also have the option to have the landing gear raised by just putting the doors in. Then you can either add your bombs or your rockets. I've already got a Typhoon here, which I built before, which has the rocket mounts. So personally, for this one, I'll probably personally go for the bombs, but each to their own. And then you have the propeller assembly, and if you're careful with your glue, it should be able to rotate. Now, and then you have your canopy, of course, at the end. And now that's over, you flip over to this page, and you got the paint schemes, which both seem fairly straightforward, with just your dark grey, a dark green, and just matte sea grey. So both of these seem fairly straightforward, and it gives you information about this aircraft's history here. And then there's the other one, which comes with a D-Day invasion stripes, because this one was present flying over on D-Day, which is quite cool, so I might go for this option. So, yeah. Now that's the instructions out the way. You can have a look at the parts, which seem to be moulded in their newer style of plastic, which is a lot tougher, or, well, sometimes this one seems quite flexible. But anyway, so this one you get your wings, your weapons, and your air intakes, and your rear bulkhead and your chair, and some more cockpit details. This one here you get your fuselage shafts, your gun bays, your gun bay hatches, your nose cone, or spinner, some of the landing gear parts, the wheels, the pilot, and the control column and control panel. On this one, you get the other fuselage half, the cockpit floor, landing gear doors, the rear bulkhead for the spinner, the rudder, the propeller, and the halves for the bombs. On this half, you get the top half of the wings, and then you also get the closed option for the landing gear doors, the elevators, and the mounts for the rockets. So, with those out of the way, we can have a quick look at the clear parts, if I can get them open. So if we can have a look at these, they are absolutely crystal clear. The panels, they need to be painted, are fairly pronounced, but not pronounced so that they're not sticking out. So it should be fairly easy to mask and paint. So that's the parts out of the way. I'll just move the parts to one side over there. Now we'll have a look at the transfers. So you get quite a fair few amount of transfers here, with A scheme transfers being on top, your B scheme transfers being on the bottom. Of course, you have your common transfers like the control panel, the yellow leading edge stripes. Some of these down here, I'm not sure what they are. Anyway, the small text is fairly legible on the stencils, which is good. They all seem to be really good. There's not a lot of scuffs and marks on them. They're made by Cartograph, so they're quite good quality. So yeah, these, in my experiences, they're not too papery. So, all of that, decals, instructions, the plastic parts, clear plastic parts, which I'll put back in the bag so they don't get scuffed. All of that comes within this very nicely illustrated box of Hawker Typhoon RB396, and some of the portion of the proceeds from this particular product, this boxing, goes towards the restoration of an RB396. So yeah. Also, this was purchased from the Lincolnshire Aviation Heritage Centre, just run their own restoration of Lancaster NX611. I'll put the link to their page up here. And anyway, I'll see you guys, hopefully, in the build video for this, which I might put out at some point. Until then, I'll see you guys next time.